Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another action-packed episode of Mr. J's Big Book of Movies, where my quest is to find the best movies in the land to put into my Big Book of Movies. What is the Big Book of Movies? The Big Book of Movies is a personal collection of films I feel should be immortalized for what they are. What does it take to get into the Big Book of Movies? That's what we try to figure out every Saturday. Today's film hits kind of home to me. You know, you can see I got a little bit of scraggle, my mustache, my little goatee going on and on the cheeks. Maybe I need to go to the barber. Maybe I need to go all the way to England on Fleet Street. Which barber am I talking about? I'm talking about Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, was released December 21st, 2007. That's interesting. I wonder if this was a Oscar bait movie. It was directed by the one and only King of Weirdness, Tim Burton. IMDb states that the infamous story of Benjamin Barker, aka Sweeney Todd, who sets up a barbershop down in London, which is the basis for a sinister partnership with his fellow tenant, Mrs. Lovett, based on the hit Broadway musical. That is 100% true. You know, I did a little bit of research to see if this was actually based on a true story, and there's a lot of argument whether or not it is. It's not. You know, Sweeney Todd is 100% fictional, but there's a small debate whether or not it's based on actual events. Alright, starting with the Rewatch Factor, I give this movie a 4. This is a personal favorite of mine, and it's a musical. So that's like, how in the hell can a musical be one of your personal favorites? This is really cool, and every single word isn't a song, which I find helpful. And there's some sinister shit going on in this movie. I mean, this is a really good movie. The fact that it's not what you expect. It's way better. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, give this movie a try, and I guarantee you're gonna love it. So with that, once again, Rewatch Factor being a 4, one of my personal favorites. Next in line, we have Storyline. Storyline gets a 4. No Oscars being handed out here, but it's damn close. I feel it's more of a good theatrical release as opposed to an Oscar movie. So it's just below that level. You know, oh man, just the end scene I really wasn't a fan of, because you still had a large item that wasn't achieved. You know, what happened with his daughter. You obviously knew that the homeless woman was his wife. That was very obvious from the beginning. And the fact, I mean, the whole dance scene and how she got thrown into the furnace, that was immaculate. That was great. I loved every minute of it. And the inspector, how they were making the meat pies, how all of a sudden this industry, this company just started doing so well. And it was because of all the people that went missing, yet no one was reported missing. So I guess London was a real shitty place at this time, where multiple people could go missing, and the only reason people were investigating is because there's a certain smell coming from your company at night. Characters, I gave a 4. Now, hear me out. The acting was great. Now, here's where I'm going to comment on the singing. I feel the singing was supposed to be terrible. You know, I don't feel anyone in this movie could carry a tune, because I don't think it was about the singing. I feel it was about the action. You know, the story that happened. And because they weren't very strong singers, you were able to hear the words that they were saying, and you were able to understand what was going on. I feel if these were actual singers, you would just be so engrossed with the melody like in Moulin Rouge, where you were so engrossed with the song and not the storytelling. Here, you were actually able to understand the words that were being, quote unquote, sung. So I feel you were able to understand everything that was going on because they lacked that skill. And I believe the lack of that skill was very helpful. So I give characters in this movie a 4. Appearance-wise, I give it a 4. I didn't give it a 5, but surprisingly, it did win an Academy Award for Best Achievement in Art Direction. So with that being said, I find that interesting. And this was 2007, so they were toying around with some CGI, and that weird CGI is where I actually took the point away. But maybe with my 2007 eyes, it may have been more state-of-the-art as opposed to my 2017 eyes, the date of me creating this critique. So I don't change my mind the fact that it did win an Academy Award for art direction, and it was nominated for costume design. So the Academy saw something that they liked, but gave it one of 2 wins. And I'm not quite sure if I feel it was strong enough to get the win, but I feel it should get at least a 4 and a little bit of credit for what they did achieve. Finally, we have enjoyment. I don't know why I need to go in depth with this. It's a 5. Bottom line, this was an awesome fucking movie. You should watch it. Everyone should watch it. This is a really good movie. The only thing I would warn you about is there's a lot of blood because of the things that happen. So if you do not like blood in movies, I don't think this would be your cup of tea. It's not scary. It's not a horror film, It's just so well put together, and I don't recommend a lot of movies on my channel, but this is one movie that I actually am going to give the seal of approval and recommend that you see. Well, at this point, what we do is we look at the 5 categories. Why? Because the 5 categories equals a grade, and that grade equals a score. Starting at the top, we have the Rewatch Factor with a score of a 4. We have the storyline with a score of a 4. The characters with a score of a 4. Now, one thing that I did see was Johnny Depp's character was nominated for an Academy Award for this picture. And irritatingly enough, he sounded just like he did as he plays Jack Sparrow. I don't know if that was done on purpose. And another irony is the very beginning of the movie, he comes on a pirate-type looking ship. No black sails or anything, but he sails into London. So I don't know if that was a precursor to his pirates theme or whatnot. But I know he really doesn't talk like that in real life. But anyways, characters received a 4. Appearance received a 4, and enjoyment received a 5. So with that 5, that was able to give the Demon Barber a score of a 21, and that 21 equals an A. So the big question is, does Sweeney Todd make it into the big book of movies? One thing that I try to do is I try to be very non-judgmental, and I feel that the excitement for this movie was able to be seen from the beginning. So I feel it was a giveaway that this did get into the big book of movies, and I sure as hell hope you guys give it a chance and watch it at home. Well, that's it. That's all the time we have here on Mr. J's Big Book of Movies. Don't forget, you can catch me every Saturday right here on YouTube. My podcast, Eye for an Eye with Mr. J, comes out every Tuesday and Thursday. You could catch that on Apple Podcast, Google Play, and Stitcher. You could catch me on my Twitter page at I4NI, spelled just like the podcast, our Facebook fan page at I4Mr. J. You can email me anytime, anywhere, mws_216 @yahoo.com. And most importantly, right down below, that subscribe button and leave comments, concerns, questions, requests. All that is important. And as far as I'm concerned, this chapter is now closed.